गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन। बहुत काम करना है आज। हाँ, गुड इवनिंग। कल तो क्लास अटक गई थी। टुडे वील टेक केयर ऑफ व्हाट वाज टू बी डन yesterday and today as well. It's going to be a lengthy class. Please buckle up. We'll try and keep it quick, keep it fast, क्योंकि काम बहुत ज़्यादा है। ठीक है, टाइम कम है, काम ज़्यादा है। टाइम स्पीड डिस्टेंस स्पीड बढ़ानी पड़ेगी। Alright, we'll start another 2 minutes. Let others join in and then we'll take it forward. All right, good evening everyone. Let's begin. We were done with this, yes? ये भी कर लिया था। इसमें कोई डाउट है तो पूछ लीजिए। Kanishk, yaar, I don't have access to the group. I've requested a friend, Nehil Sir to share it in the group. Let's see if he does it. जो यहाँ है वो तो यहाँ है, सबको पता था क्लास है। Anyway, इसमें कोई डाउट है? ये भी हो गया था कल। इसका आंसर था 1 3 2 4। इसका क्या आंसर था? 4 2 1 3। Moving on. Try this. You have 2 minutes. Alright Kanishk, thank you. या आप ही लिंक शेयर कर दो ग्रुप पे। आसान है ये भी. I would say this is an easy question, easily gettable. Almost correct, Vidushi. 1423 नहीं, not 23. सब लोग गलत दे रहे हैं. ठीक है, let me ask you a few questions. Over here it says the canopy. So clearly canopy would have been defined somewhere before this. वो कहाँ है? ये रहा woodlands canopy. So I know 1-4 is a mandatory pair, also the opening statement. 2-3 or 3-2. Here we're talking about swifts, but swifts introduce कहाँ किया है? Some to swifts and shallows. Over here we says with the streamlined bodies, swifts are agile flyers, ideally adapted to twisting and turning through the air as they chase flying insects, the creatures that form their staple diet. Then we say, achha, this is happening within the woodland. Okay. Then we go outside. Do not confine themselves to woodlands, but hunt wherever here there are insects in the air. So 1-4, 3-2. Yes, Noob. 1-4-3-2 is the right answer. Are we clear with this? Okay. Next. In which sentence, Venkata? Can you point out the sentence? हाँ जी हर्ष, जाएंगे, बिल्कुल जाएंगे. Help me here, Venkata. With there, what does that mean? With there as in, I couldn't follow. ये भी आसान क्वेश्चन है. Previous one all right, but which sentence? Not the question number. Which sentence? Vidushi, you're getting 2 correct and then एक जगह गलती हो रही है आपसे. With their streamlined bodies. Okay, their streamlined bodies refers to swifts and swallows. That's why 4-3 is a mandatory pair. I hope this is clear, Venkata. Here I see 2 starts the statement. Democracy and high levels of inequality. Inequality की बात करिए. Very rich people will maintain their political and economic power, hence the inequality. So 2 and 4. Then we say believing these people are working for a better world. Now these people can either refer to rich people or it can refer to enablers. So if you see these people are working for a better world, they are actually at most chipping away at the margins, making slight course correction. So they are doing something from their end, but they're only able to do very little. So this would not be very rich people. This would be enablers. So 1 3 is a mandatory pair. I hope this is clear. Yes. All right. Next, summary. No. I've got correct answers as well. Yes, now I'm getting the correct answers. Bronze, Yovel, Aisha, Vineet, well done. So it says artificial embryo training is relatively low tech way to make clones. Clones is as good as identical twins. As the name suggests, the technique mimics the natural process that creates identical twins. In nature, twins from very early in development, when the embryo splits in two, twinning happens in the first days after egg and sperm join while the embryo is. So this is just telling you how it's formed. Each half of the embryo continues dividing. This is an example of what happens. This is not important for the passage. I can simply take this out. It says unlike the natural development, so this cannot be the answer. Close to the natural development. No, not close. It mimes it. It's very similar. Now it says where during fertilization twins are formed. Partial. This is not correct. We have to talk about twins from the embryo after fertilization. The word embryo is also important. The 2 is also incomplete. Hence 1. See, embryo splits into 2. 2 misses out embryo. Clear? Ritika, clear? अरे हर्ष थैंक यू सो मच लेकिन यार 20 सेकंड को तो अयोध्या आना बहुत मुश्किल है बहुत ही मुश्किल है इनफैक्ट people are saying suggested not to go to Ayodhya, but if I do come over, if I do get there, I'll definitely meet you. Don't worry about it. Thank you so much, Harsh. Refi, refi is to confirm or to make something concrete, establish. Yes, I think this is easy. I've got a few correct answers already. Well done, Aisha, Anisha, Shravani, Yovel. Yes, Mimansha. Production and legitimation of scientific knowledge can be approached from a number of perspectives, okay, but that's not the summary. To study knowledge production with the sociology of professions, perspectives would mean a focus on the institutionalization of a body of knowledge. The professions approach informed earlier research in managerial occupation, business schools, and management knowledge. It, however, tends to reify institutional power structures in its understanding of the links between knowledge and authority. Knowledge production is restricted in the perspective to the selected members of the professional community. Most notably to the university faculties and professional colleges, power is understood as a negative mechanism which prevents the non-professional actors from offering their ideas information as legitimate knowledge. आप ये दो वर्ड्स भी कहीं पे ढूंढ लेंगे आपको आंसर मिल जाएगा. It says the study of knowledge production can be done through many perspectives. Yes, it is said, but that's not the summary. The profession's approach has been one of the most relied upon perspective. We don't know whether it is relied upon or not. Third clearly is the answer, but let's take a look at fourth as well. Profession's approach focuses on the creation of institutions of higher education and disciplines to promote knowledge production. Restriction की बात नहीं करता है fourth point. Third. I hope this is clear. Yes? विदुषी ऐसा बहुत बार होगा कि आपको पैसेज समझ में नहीं आएगा, बट हमको पैसेज समझने से ज्यादा उसका क्रक्स देना है. क्रक्स देने के लिए लुक आउट फॉर कीवर्ड्स एंड देन प्रेजेंट द आंसर. अभी समझ में आया पैसेज? बोल रहा है इस तरह से नॉलेज प्रोड्यूस होती है, नॉलेज प्रोड्यूस होती है इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइजेशन से, लेकिन प्रोडक्शन में प्रॉब्लम आ जाती है रिस्ट्रिक्शन कि वो रिस्ट्रिक्टेड हो जाता है. काइंड ऑफ आ गया काफी है विदुषी. ट्राई द नेक्स्ट. Okay, the conceptualization of landscape as a geometric object first occurred, so we're talking about the conceptualization of landscape. First occurred in Europe and is historically related to the European conceptualization of the organism. Now we're only talking about landscape. What happened? Particularly the human body as a geometric object with parts having a rational. Mind you, the idea is conceptualization of landscape with having rational three-dimensional organization and integration. The European idea of landscape appeared before the science of landscape emerged, and it is no coincidence that Renaissance artists such as Leonardo da Vinci, who studied the structure of the human body, also facilitated the structure of landscape. तो conceptualization यहाँ से हुआ. This is how it was conceptualized. Renaissance artists also facilitated. Landscape, which had been a subordinate background to religious or history's narrative, became an independent genre or subject of art by the end of 16th century or the beginning of the 17th century. The study of landscape as an independent genre was aided by the Renaissance artists. Okay, also facilitated. Keywords आपके सामने हैं. Let's take a look at the others. The three-dimensional understanding of the organism in Europe led to a similar approach towards the understanding of landscape. Does not talk about Renaissance artists. The Renaissance artists were responsible for the study of landscape as a subject of art. No, they were not responsible. They only helped. They facilitated. So this is misleading. Fourth says landscape became a major subject of the art at the turn of the 16th century. Yes, this is correct as a fact, but not a summary. And this is not important when it became... Also, it says major subject. We are talking about it became an independent genre, not just a major subject, an independent genre. Are we clear with this? Yes, Vineet. Good answer. Five sentences related to a topic are given below. Four of them can be put together to form a meaningful and coherent short paragraph. Identify the odd one out. Choose this number as your answer and key it in. Theta question. Europe is not important. The idea is that landscape became an independent genre. That's important. Also, Ritik, it still is the best answer. Easy question. Again, very easy question. Now, मुझे आसान लग रहा है, ठीक है, but है ये आसान. Sorry, Anisha, I missed it. Well done. तो इधर भी पढ़ा रहा हूँ, कमेंट्स भी पढ़ रहा हूँ, कभी कभी कुछ मिस हो जाता है. प्लीज एक्सक्यूज मी. अभी ये करेंगे. अरे वाह, ऑल ऑफ यू गेटिंग इट राइट. Kanishk, Bronze, Mimansha, Vidushi, Ayesha, Vineet, everybody's got this correct. I would disagree, Mimansha. Order गलत है. See 4-1. देखो odd one out तो आपने सबको बता ही दिया है. But if you're talking about the order, 4-1 has to be a mandatory pair. It remains invisible, thus not very significant. So it should be 3-2, 4-1. I hope that helps, Mimansha. All of you have answered this correctly. Good job. Next. Good job, Dipiksha. Good job, Arnav. देखो, अगर आपको क्लियरली समझ नहीं आ रहा है ऑड वन आउट क्या है, यू नॉट सर्टन अबाउट इट, जब भी आपको ऑड वन आउट आता है यू कैन मेक अ पैराग्राफ विद इट, दो इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी, इट इज मोर टाइम कंज्यूमिंग. ऑड वन आउट में यू कैन सेव टाइम बाय सिंपली आंसरिंग द क्वेश्चन. So obviously the opening statement is time inconsistency. In the specific case of immunization, time inconsistency. So I have one for people, children, they camp. So 1, 4, 3 and 5. Sorry, excuse me. 1, 3, 2, 5. Yes. Odd one out is 4. Make sense? I think it does. Vishal, I hope this is clear now. Next. Cool. No, Noob, you've answered correctly as well. इससे पहले भी ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है. पैरा जंबल थोड़ा मुश्किल है लेकिन आंसर निकालना आसान है. Odd one out. Talks about the similarity between translators and bumblebees. Mimansha, that's brilliant. Good job. In 1934, French entomologist Auguste Magnin pronounced the flight of bumblebee to be aerodynamically impossible. उससे bumblebee को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Have continued to flit from flower to flower, but translators continue to translate. Translators are like bumblebee. नो सॉरी, ऑर्डर गलत बता रहा हूं. Let's see. The odd one out is 2. Now let's see. So 5 comes first. Pronounce the flight of aerodynamically impossible. Translators are like bumblebees. Similar pronouncements about the impossibility of translation. So 5, 1, 3. 4 is an example. I hope this is clear. Entomologist होता है जो bees को पढ़ता है. Impossible, translators are like bumblebees. उनका भी impossibility बताया गया है. फिर बोला है bees भी ऐसे करते रहते हैं, translators भी translate करते रहते हैं. Similarity. I hope this is clear. ये समझ में आया? Give me a yes if yes. Jaldi guys, lot of ground to cover today. Yes, okay. Slot 2. Let's begin. So we start off with a para jumble. विदुषी ये आज की क्लास का है, अभी जो किया था वो कल की क्लास का था. कल क्लास नहीं हुई थी ना. वी हैव टू मेक अप फॉर लॉस्ट टाइम. हमारे पास टाइम नहीं है. एंड इफ आई एम वर्किंग विथ यू, यू शुड ऑल्सो बी वर्किंग विथ मी. आई बीन टेकिंग क्लासेस सिंस 3 o'clock straight, 3 to 5, 5 to 6 and now 3 to 5, 5 to 7 and now 7 to 9. आई विल मेक इट क्विक एंड ईजी. पिछले वाले आपने जो भी वीआरसी सॉल्व किया आसान लगा ना, ये भी आसान लगेगा. Just stay with me for some time. Good answer, Bronze. Good answer, Shruti. ये तो इंडिया में भी होता है. बिल्डर्स आपसे बोलते हैं कि घर ले लो हमारे पास, और फिर पैसा लेके बोल देते हैं कि हम तो लिक्विफाई हो गए, वी गॉन बैंकरप्ट डिक्लेयर कर देते हैं, एंड दे गेट आउट ऑफ डेट. डेलिबरेट एंड सिस्टमैटिक लिक्विडेशन टू अवॉइड लायबिलिटीज इज कॉल्ड फिनिक्सिंग. Companies in many countries engage in such activities. Many countries. So I know 3-2 is a mandatory pair opening statement as well. Now it was his taxpayers. Whose taxpayers? The Australian Minister for Revenue. इसके tax payers हैं. So 4-1 is a mandatory pair. 3-2, 4-1. Clear? Yes, most of you got this right. Good job. Next. Look for mandatory pairs. I think, yes, good job, guys. You are on fire today. Yovel, Anisha, Aisha, good job. Most people with progressive diseases like dementia prefer to have control. Having control means 2-3, mandatory pair. First has to be the last statement because it says thus. 4-1. 4 talks more about supporting people in decisions, self-management, and then self-management is thus defined. Great. Some of you have answered 4-1-2-3. 4-1-2-3. So you've got 4-1 correct and you've got 2-3 correct, but you've got the order incorrect. I've told you time and again, the general statement will come first, specific will come later. 2 is more general, it starts with diseases and then we go on to self-management. So 2-3 has to come before. ये गलत है, ये सही है. मीमांसा बताया ना आपको 4 ओपनिंग स्टेटमेंट नहीं हो सकता. इट हैज टू गो फ्रॉम जनरल टू स्पेसिफिक. सेल्फ मैनेजमेंट पे खत्म कर रहे हैं. पहले हम बताएंगे सेल्फ मैनेजमेंट की नीड क्यों है. नीड है बिकॉज ऑफ द डिजीज. फर्स्ट यू डिफाइन नीड, देन यू टेल द क्योर एंड देन यू डिफाइन द क्योर. आई होप दिस इज क्लियर मीमांसा. I hope you're not checking out answers elsewhere and you answering on your own. Because, I mean, you can check out answers, but that's not really going to help you. Apply yourself here. Awesome. As I said, you guys are on fire today. Especially Yovel. Yovel, very impressive. Anisha, I did not miss out on you. Yes, you did it too. Well done. So guys, like the dieter opening statement, who would rather do anything to lose weight than actually eat less? The business elite would save the world through social impact investing and philanthropic capitalism. The business elite, they would fund a million of buzzwordy programs rather than fundamentally question the rules of their game. So 3-2. They would rather do virtuous, so before rather I have to say what are they supposed to do and what do they end up doing. What are they supposed to do is mentioned in fourth. Doing the right thing and moving away from win-win mentality would involve real sacrifice. Instead, it's easier to focus on their pet projects and initiative. So what they would do is, they would rather do virtuous side projects assiduously as long as these would not compel them into doing their day jobs more honorably or reduce the profit margins. So sacrifice यहाँ पे खत्म हो जाता है. 3, 2, 4 and 1. I'm pretty sure it's clear now. Yes, Aisha, correct. Slightly tricky this one is. I'll give you more time for it. Vidushi, keep attending the classes that we're conducting. Baki, you can reach out to me personally if you need help. Also, I told this to everyone yesterday, guys, please keep reading. You will automatically improve your verbal ability. And the key to anything, improving anything, is constant practice. Practice past year's papers, practice whatever material you have, practice what iQuanta gives you. क्या हो जाएगा हद से हद? You'll go wrong. Go wrong. It's okay. The problem is when you go wrong and you don't realize where you went wrong. आप कोई गलती करोगे ना, and if you learn from it, someone tells you that this was your mistake, you will never forget it. So it is okay to make mistakes. But ऐसा नहीं mistakes ही करते जाओ, but don't be scared of making mistakes. Keep practicing. You will get there. So guys, okay, don't answer this question. 3-4 नहीं होगा. So you see, starts with 4. New institutions emerge which recognize ways in which workers could contribute and benefit by economic growth when rather than if their jobs are automated. So ऐसे नई नई चीजें आ रही हैं जिससे उनका भला होगा, ठीक है? They could benefit. Example, in the era of industrial revolution, the abolition of child labor, poor laws, and the growth of trade unions helped families benefit, helped. So I have 4-3. All right. Then growing inequality could be matched by a creeping authoritarianism that is bolstered by technology that is increasingly able to peer into the deepest vestiges of our life. हमने अब टेक्नोलॉजी की बात करी. In the era of smart world, however gives me the idea that first I'll talk about technology and then I'm telling you that this is the problem technology faces, technology poses. So 4, 3 and 2, 1. Wrap your head around it, take a minute. क्या बात है अनीशा? Well done यार. No, it's 4, 3, 2, 1. You've given 4, 2, 3, 1. Sorry. Slight mistake. Could you follow this? Most of you have got this wrong. That's all right. But have you been able to understand this? The question is whether you've been able to understand this. As I said, it's not a problem to go wrong. Key in this sequence है ना? Key in this sequence is theta only. Oh yes, I am so sorry. Thank you, Yovel. Thank you so much. I've given the correct answer but marked it incorrectly. Yes, guys, you were right. It is 4, 2, 3, 1. Sorry, my bad. So I did give out the correct explanation, but I marked the answer incorrectly. So if I could do it, you could also do it. Please make sure you're marking the correct answer key. 4, 2, 3, 1 को 4, 3, 2, 1 किया गया, right? Really sorry. Thank you for bringing it out. Yes, Venkata, I realized it. Thanks. So Anisha, you were right again. All of you who marked 4, 2, 3, 1, good job. Delinquency is a minor crime or neglect of duty. Like for example, if you're late on your payment, आपको बोला जाएगा you're delinquent. You should rather be concerned about the meaning of empirical. Empirical means something which can be proven with experiment, something which can be proven beyond doubt. Absolute proof. Good job, Vidushi. Good job, Dipshika, Mehek. Imperialism is when you're ruled by somebody else. So yes, long live revolution, go down imperialism. India is a perfect example of this, Kanishk. We had a struggle for freedom, we revolted, and that's why we could get rid of, European imperialism, that is the East India Company or the Britishers. The early optimism about sports' deterrent effects on delinquency was premature as researchers failed to find any consistent relationship between participation, failed to find any consistent relationships. As the initial studies were based upon cross-sectional data and the effects captured. Cross-sectional data, effects captured. मतलब concrete evidence नहीं था. Was short term, it was problematic to test and verify. Test and verify. This is why I said empirical. Something which you can test and verify is empirical. It was problematic to test and verify the temporal sequencing of events suggested by the deterrence theory. The correlation between sport and delinquency could not be disentangled from class and cultural variables known. So, अभी तक कुछ clarity नहीं है. Choosing individuals to play sports in the first place was problematic, which became more acute in the subsequent decades as researchers began to document just how closely sport participation was linked to social class indicators. There is a direct relationship between sport. This is just going against the fabric of the passage. Direct relationship तो मिला ही नहीं है. ये बोल रहे रिलेशनशिप है लेकिन मोर एविडेंस चाहिए. हम बोल रहे हैं एविडेंस है ही नहीं. There is a lack of evidence. Problematic to test and verify. We have not been able to do so. Contradicting the previous optimism, latter researchers have proved that there is no consistency. They've not proved anything. There is no direct relationship. Statistical and empirical weaknesses. Statistical and empirical weaknesses stand in the way of inferring any relationship between sports and sports participation and deviance. तो हमें कुछ भी नहीं मिला अभी तक. 3 is the best answer. Sports participation is linked to class and cultural variables as education, income, and social capital. This is only a part of the passage, not the summary. Hence 3. Well done, Vidushi. You were the first to answer. Practice, Anisha, practice. Stay with me. We'll get through it. ओहो, कोई बात नहीं. It says, should the moral obligation to rescue 8 persons in grave peril felt by a few be enforced by the criminal law? Should we follow the lead of a number of European countries and enact bad Samaritan laws? तो बोल रहे कोई अगर परेशानी में है तो उसको हेल्प करना लीगली बाइंडिंग होना चाहिए या नहीं? Proponents of bad Samaritan laws must overcome at least 3 different sorts of obstacles. I think this is where you find your answer. First, they must show that the laws are morally legitimate in principle. That the duty to aid others is a proper candidate for legal enforcement. Again, we are talking about law. They must show that this duty to aid can be defined in a way that can be fairly enforced by the courts. दो चीजें, दोनों में law involved है. Third, they must show that the benefits of the laws are worth their problems, risks and costs. सीधी सी बात है भाई. पहली चीज कि हाँ मतलब पहली चीज की ड्यूटी, अगर आपने किसी हेल्प नहीं की तो आपके ऊपर कोर्ट केस किया जा सकता है क्या? दूसरा, आप ये डिफाइन तो करो कि कितनी ड्यूटी है, किस लेवल तक हेल्प करना है और किस बंदे को हेल्प करना है. थर्ड, बेनिफिट्स ऑफ द लॉज आर वर्थ देयर प्रॉब्लम एंड रिस्क्स एंड कॉस्ट्स. ए सेज everyone agrees, everyone does not agree. First of all, that people ought to aid, the only debate is whether to have a law on it. A number of European countries have successfully enacted. We don't know whether the enactment was successful or not. Bad Samaritan laws may be desirable, but they need to be tested for legal soundness. As I said, this line gives out your answer. 3 different sorts of obstacles, all of them are legal, so they need to be tested for legal soundness. If bad Samaritan laws are found to be legally sound and enforceable, they must be enacted. No, we're not saying they must be enacted, we're saying they need to be tested first and then we'll decide whether they need to be enacted or not. अभी ठीक है? Thank you, Vidushi. Thank you, Memansha. Now we're talking about summaries. Awesome, guys. All of you have answered this correctly. Almost all of you have answered this correctly. A Japanese government panel announced that it recommends regulating only genetically modified organisms that had foreign genes permanently introduced into the genomes and not those whose endogenous genes have been edited. The only stipulation is that researchers and business will have to register their modification to plants or animals with the government, with the exception of microbes cultured in contained environments. Reactions to this decision are mixed. While lauding the potential benefit of genome editing, an editorial opposes the cross-board permission. Unforeseen risks in gene editing cannot be ruled out. All genetically modified products must go through the same safety and labeling processes regardless of the method. Correct. A government panel in Japan says transgenic modification and genome editing are not the same. ऐसा तो कहीं नहीं लिखा है. Creating categories within genetically modified products in terms of transgenic modification and genome editing advances science but defies laws. It does not defy laws. Okay? Exempting from regulation the editing of endogenous genes is not desirable as this procedure might be risk prone. That's what it says. Unforeseen risk in gene editing cannot be ruled out. हम ये नहीं कह रहे कि रिस्क होगा ही, हम कह रहे रिस्क हो सकता है, may be risk prone. Exempting microbes cultured in contained environments from the regulations of genome editing is premature. No, we don't know whether it's premature or not. Simple. Now we have odd one out. All right, let's go. Bang on. The odd one out is 3. There is no denying the fact that our baseline normal weather is changing. It is no longer a question of whether we will be hit by nature's fury, but rather when. Mandatory pair 4, 5. After this, as India looks to increase the number of cities, our urban planning must factor. Authorities must revise data. So 1, 2. I hope this is clear. This talks about extreme temperatures, droughts and forest fires have more than doubled since 1980. It talks about a particular calamities. We're talking about natural calamities in general. And it talks about a period of time, right? या तो हम उसको लेके चलते कि what happened since then or why it happened, but there's no mention of that. क्योंकि विदुषी 3 तो ऑड वन आउट है ना. Really easy question. You don't have to even identify the order in this case. एक कीवर्ड है जो एक सेंटेंस में मिसिंग है. If you can just figure out in which sentence is that keyword missing, you will have figured out the odd one out. नहीं, 3 is odd one out. 3 does not make sense. आपने बोला 4 3 1 2, राइट? विदुषी देखते हैं, चलो 4 3 1 2 की बात करेंगे. 4 talks about there is no denying the fact that our baseline normal weather is changing, and then 3 talks about 1980. हम सीधे 1980 पे कैसे चले गए? Exactly. We're talking about songs. We're talking about songs. Talking about songs. Talk about songs. Here we're talking about sounds. Simply odd one out. नूब, प्रैक्टिस दोस्त, प्रैक्टिस, सब समझ में आएगा. गिव इट टाइम. अभी क्लासेस ही कितनी हुई हमारी? हार्डली एनी. This is also easy. Think about it. What is the main idea of the passage? Are we talking about sleep or are we talking about apps and smartphones and other devices? किसकी बात कर रहे हैं हम? If you could just figure this out, आपका आंसर मिल जाएगा आपको. Kanishk, that's rather funny. I've given you a hint. You should be able to come to terms with it. समझ में आया? Smartphones. Smartphones, sleep tracking apps, such apps, smartphones, sleep tracking apps. Clearly the odd one, 3. Yes. I hope I've been able to take you through the VA of 2018 slot 1 and 2 properly. समझ में आया होगा, I hope. This is it for this week. I will see you on Monday. Monday we will do 2019 RC slot 1. Okay? Have a great weekend, guys. Till then, peace out. Cheers. Thank you.